What's happening, everybody? And we back in here, baby. All right. It's your man, Mr. Chocolate, Tyrone. All right. Hey, we got Black Pearl. We got the doctor. I said the doctor's in the house. Royal Rain. And tonight we got a special guest. All right. All right. This brother goes by the name of LaRay the Rivia. I'm just reading it right now. I'm lying to you.
Mr. Chocolate's like, I'm not gonna be spilled.
Hey, I want to put respect on the name, though. You gotta put respect on the name, right? All right. So, welcome to the experience. All right. So, what's going on, everybody? What's going on?
I'm just loving y'all vibe. Like this whole day, y'all been lit. I'm just here to join in with you. Let me get spritz with some of what y'all got.
Oh, look. Pop, there you go.
Yeah, look, spritz.
Hey, look, I figure why not, man? Why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not be lit? Why not be, I'm blessed.
Listen.
Hey, look, I was sick earlier this week and now I'm better, feeling better. I was down bad. Now I'm good. All right. So what's going on this week? Black Pearl, what's been going on with you?
I mean, it's the last week of February. I feel like I blinked and then February is gone. And February was gone. I'm like, yo, I want to petition for a new month for Black History Month. We are Black History. I need a different month. I need to extend it.
It's all year for me. Hey, I want to keep this month short because payday come right back real quick. So
it could be somebody else's month. Let's pick another day, like a warm month. What month June. I mean, we already got Juneteenth in June. That's your birthday month. I didn't do it for that.
I think June is the unofficial second Black History Month anyway. Because we all turn up for Juneteenth, and it's all.
And then it's Father's Day. Father's Day don't even get recognition.
Father's Day, so
be real Black.
So I mean, in my mind, June is like the second Black History Month, but we just turn up. We be having our festivals, and what I'm saying, just feel up extra Black that month,
but not too hot. It'd be hot.
Not too hot. Hey, we got AC. It's all good.
All right. Well, let's hear what LaRay is up to. LaRay, tell us about yourself. Tell us what you up to.
Awesome. Well, first of all, my name is LaRay DeVera. I'm just basically an entrepreneur. I got a company called Purple Hearted LLC. It's an umbrella business that houses a few other businesses. I just recently started a streaming service as well, where we actually are in control of the algorithm when it comes to streaming audio. So basically, we kind of like in charge of the money. I'm an artist, songwriter, clothing designer. Man, we do pretty much what they call
we diversified.
Yeah, but I'm a master of because all of them are profitable at this moment. I started in 2018. And it took me about 4 years for everything to like actually become actually something that I could live off of. So I'm just blessed at the moment, man. So Purple Hearted is just an umbrella business of a blessed individual.
Nice.
Okay. All right, man. So man, he about to get his bag. All right. About the bag. I'm all for it.
Always about the bag.
I gotta be.
And we understand that. We understand that.
And Pearl, you know how we do. We go way back.
Way back.
She's actually, let me give her flowers because I'm kind of proud of her and what she's doing right now. Because what she doesn't know, she know this shit, but she was like the pillar in the beginning of me starting what I'm doing right now.
Stop playing, yo. Y'all stop. We don't pay y'all on here. You don't have to say
No,
that.
listen, on some real shit. I've never gotten a chance to tell her that, and this is just like a perfect opportunity to tell her on her platform. But she kind of was like, "No, put it on paper, organize it.
I
You know what I
remember
mean?
that.
Do it." And I never stopped from there. I never stopped
Aw.
motivation. I never stopped putting it on paper. I never lost that motivation. You know what I mean? And I've always, I'll be back out. Like, you want to jump in when I got going? She's like, I'm chilling,
Because
nigga.
it was your
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. Then I'm like, boom, like this is her, y'all. Like she's been this for years. You know what I mean? So to see her doing this right here is like, yeah, let's do it. It's lit. I'm only here just because of her. I only really
Oh, stop.
we can have any
Okay.
topic. You know what I mean? But just to be a part of this and to tell y'all like where she come from with this and how we kind of like, yo, that's a real one, right?
Oh, thank you. Guys, I didn't know he was going to do this. I swear.
Hey,
And you better not
okay.
start crying before I come
I'm
over there and
not
pop you in your throat.
Okay.
Let it out, fuck it.
No, I'm gonna chop her in her whole throat, cut her whole air supply off.
What
She's
are
gonna
we
be
talking about
gasping.
today, guys?
Come on through,
That
cause
boy
we.
talking tough. He talking tough, boy. Okay. She over there
I,
sweating.
she is,
Sorry.
but no,
Round
but
of-
that's dope,
Give
Lorraine.
her flowers, you know what I mean? Round of
Yeah,
applause.
yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Give her the flowers. All right. Hey. All right. Start with the flowers. All right, my man. All right. All right. All
All
right.
right,
Hey.
what are we talking about today? Come on.
All right. So that we want to get to the topic real quick. Okay. All right. So topic of the night. All right. So I was browsing the internet, like I do, looking around, listening to some conversations, and the topic of masculinity comes up a lot on the YouTube sphere. You hear to see it a lot. So the question was, is there an attack on masculinity, just kind of as a whole? All right, and so I figured, man, let's talk about it. What's going on, and why not? So I'll bring it to the panel tonight. Do you guys think there is an attack on masculinity in the past few years? And if so, how? What's going on out here in these streets?
Absolutely. Were you
All
waiting for us to disagree? Absolutely.
right, so what are some things you're seeing out here, Black Pearl? What are some attacks on masculinity that you've seen?
Well, I think it comes from all areas, right? So I've come from the area that I best represent. It comes from women. Um, we tend to ask men to be certain things that technically they're problems for some women, they'll never reach the bar to be. Right. So we ask men to be men, and then when they step up to be men, we cut them at the knees, right? We tell men we want them to express themselves, and then we make memes of them crying, or we cut them at the, because I feel like when a man opens up to you and you tear them down, you cut them at the Achilles versus the knee. So I think we do a lot of double talking. I think then on top of that, they go out into the world and we tell them things like, God, I just feel like we outside the world will support a feminine man before we support a masculine man, right?
Okay.
I say that also because our men, our Black men, 1,000% are threats. 1,000%. A strong Black man is like a nuclear bomb, powerful, explosive, making changes, destroying, but also building up. And so I feel like when they go out into the world, they are, like I feel like the world does this to them. Bring it down a little bit. It's too much. Bring it down a little bit. It's too much. Then our system is set up with child support and all that other stuff to actually encourage them not to be in the home, because some women get more benefits for having the man not there, right? So all of that is being watched by little boys who are growing up and actually probably put more power and more masculine leadership expectations on the women and their mothers and those things, because it's not unlikely for a woman to say, I've never seen a strong man in my family. You know what I mean? So that's my opinion. I'm gonna step back because I kind of just did a a whole bunch, but
Okay.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. So Mr. LeRae, what's your thoughts, brother? What are your thoughts on it from a man's perspective?
That was very honest shit from a black woman. But yeah, it's been an attack. It's been like that for years. But it's more spiritual than anything
Mm.
um,
Okay.
the spirit of it all, and just to be 100% real, just the spirit of it all is the deciding factor because we still have a choice. You know what I'm saying? So we can either choose to be men or choose to be directed as lost souls. You know what I mean? Because I think that's what's been lost in the man and the woman thing is the spirit of it all. And the production of the woman has slowed down because they actually are providing instead of producing. And the man has nothing to provide for because he's just out in the world as a wanderer because he's getting pushed out the house. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
that's why they don't see what a real man is because they're being pushed to be so independent, and that's also an American thing. Um, be doing a lot of traveling, I started to notice that America is based on independence, and that's individual. It's an individualist thing. It's like you
Mhm.
can do you, right? So it's like everybody's on that wave, but I can't say that the feminine or the hard is less blessed. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about what we're directing ourselves to do. But I do notice that me being more of that man like that, I handle my business, I take care of my kid. You know what I mean? Like I'm firm, I stand up. You know what I mean? It puts a fear in a strong woman to me, and it puts a fear also in a weak woman because it's like, oh, I can't be around him because he's too strong. I'm not as like I can't produce for he's already there. You know what I mean? Or then you got the woman that's strong just like the man is like, well, he ain't stronger than me. You know what I mean? So that's
Right.
what strong man goes through. So he just end up being alone. So the so it's like we don't present ourselves as much. So we're seeing more of that. We're seeing more of it being pipe down, pipe down, pipe down, because that's where the controlling factor is. You know what I mean? Because you can't control no real man like that. You
Right.
know. So they're gonna promote who we can control, and
Right.
they're gonna just allow the man to just do them. You know what I mean? So we get to a point where we just like, well, we'll just avoid all of that because we are men. We ain't got to deal with it, and we just gonna handle our business. You know what I mean? And but it just be like, yeah, the kid don't see that because he's not in the house. And from my experience, this is just from my experience. I'm not saying that this is how it is for everybody. So let me say that too. But from my experience, because I was taken out of the home for my kids, you know what I mean. But uh, it was more so of the fear of the woman and what I had. You know what I'm saying? And that put the kid in a situation too where he's not being with a man every day. It had nothing to do with the system. It was just her. You know what I mean? So it starts with us as an individual recognizing where our problem is, and how we present that to other people. And when she say like it's being like simmer down, we step because it's so easy for someone to accept that lie and to live a lie and to walk into their truth. So it's like, yo, I'll accept. I've seen like most women accept feminine men because they just have more in common. You know what I mean? That's just what it is.
Mm.
They can
So
just
do you
accept.
think that you're saying that women are strong women are drawn towards feminine men because they can still control the situation?
The control situation. Absolutely.
Interesting. Dun-dun-dun.
A lot of my female friends are like corporate boss little joints. You know what I mean? So it's like we debate on like ease up on him a little bit. You know, I'm that friend. Like ease up on him a little bit. Like damn, like like you ain't got no muscle. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like we don't need you to be in the gym. We need you to be a woman. We understand that you're a professional. That's cute, but you're not.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I feel like it's more of it's more of a like, well, I'd rather deal with a man I can control than a man that I'm gonna have to like allow to be the man. It just sounds funny, but that's just
Right,
what
right.
Does it sound funny?
because it shouldn't be a sound, but it just
Well, let
Mhm.
let me challenge you this way. Challenge what you're saying this way. Could it be that that feminine man or that not so masculine man is drawn to that stronger woman because he's attracted to someone who reminds him of his mama in a single household that was controlling everything to begin with?
absolutely. And
Yeah,
again,
okay.
that's individual poison. If you was to say like that's an individual drug or individual habit that was developed. That wasn't and but then the system part comes in to where they just got
Mm-hmm.
to run to
Mm-hmm.
system that agrees with them. Like, yeah, that's cool. You know what I mean? So it's like that's what system plays a part in, and of course on black folk,
Yeah,
the black
yeah, yeah, yeah.
system is set up to just get them out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just it's been like that since day one. We
Yeah.
supposed to
Yeah.
be strong black men so they can build. Not saying that the feminine man is less of a man than anything when it comes to responsibility, integrity, like, all of these things. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, oh, y'all deserve less of a man stamp. It's just that when it comes to the reception from man to woman, a woman goes for the more feminine than the man because like a
So
lot of
so what defines a man as being feminine?
Thank you, because I'm listening to all to this dialogue, and I'm like, are we talking about? And Tyrone, I think you and I are on the same page right now. Like, are we talking about gender roles, the male gender role versus the female gender role,
no
or are we
role.
talking about the actual sexual characteristics of a male child or male person?
I'm talking me, I was
You
talking about
understand what I'm
energy.
saying?
I was talking about energy.
Right,
Right?
right.
There's a yin,
I'm
there's a yang, there's a mask because everyone has a masculine and a feminine side to them.
You can be
Everyone.
feminine and not gay. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
to gay people. Like you can be feminine. That's why I didn't say gay, lesbian,
Well,
or
no.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. It's a
yeah. So
difference.
feminine meaning like okay, like I have a homeboy that's feminine. Like he's like he doesn't believe in too much labor. He doesn't. He's the house husband. Shit like that, stuff like that. You know
I
what I mean?
got you. You can
You
cuss.
could
You
curse.
okay?
You
Yeah,
could
you
curse.
you just never know who's watching. You know what I mean? But yeah, I slip up
Mhm.
because
So should we say instead of masculine
so
and feminine, more dominant? Is he
so
has the more
okay.
dominant and less
to
dominant.
me, so again, speaking for myself, to me, what defines a man is the responsibility to take care of the family, things like this, like
I got
providing
you. And see,
family,
that's what I'm saying. That like that's
Yeah.
just to the
uh,
to me what you're describing are gender roles. And you see what I'm saying? And women want what I'm hearing from you all is women want to be the gender role of a man in the house. You see,
mm,
she wants to be the one that's the provider. She wants to be the one that's in control. She
that's perfect.
the protect. You understand what I'm saying?
That's
Now,
absolutely.
and 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 I wasn't when I was speaking about the characteristics
Mhm.
of of a male, not so much from the standpoint of get into sexuality as far as like sexual preference and all of that, with being a lesbian or being gay or any of the LGBTQIA spectrum, right? I'm
Mhm.
from the standpoint of piggybacking off of your comment, Lorraine.
Uh-huh.
If that male child is in a female dominated home and all he see is female characteristics within the home. And what I
Mhm.
mean by that is um the her her wearing and I and viewers just understand where I'm going with this, okay? So when I say this, if they see a woman that's putting makeup on, they put, wear dresses, they wear heels, like, and then to take it a step further, if they, even the way they talk, girl back, and sometimes, or even the way that, right now we in twerk fest, right? Twerk Fest USA. Everybody's twerking. You can laugh at me, Lorraine. It's all good, love. So,
It's real shit. You know what I mean? Like,
so,
it's just,
so you have young men, and men that are comfortable twerking, and it has nothing to do with their sexual preference. That's why I want the audience to understand where I'm going with this, because I'm not getting into, sexual preference right now. I'm talking about characteristics that they see, and so they manifest that because that's what they see, and they feel like this is learned behavior. That's what we're dealing with. You see what I'm saying? So I just want to throw that little nugget out there to support what you were saying, and what I was hearing, as well as Pearl. And Tyrone, is that where your mental was
yeah.
along the
I
lines?
kind of was thinking along the lines of, as far as masculinity and attacks on masculinity. I think one of it too is society kind of now we want to pretend that there aren't roles, that the roles are just whatever,
Right, that they're blurred.
and it's, I mean, and it's just, to me, it's almost like they want you to follow along. It's like the emperor has no clothes on, with society now. It's like everybody just sees something that's like, hey, you see that? You better go along with it. And everybody goes along with it. But you really you're like, this isn't right. And finally somebody says, wait a minute. Oh, wait a damn minute. This ain't right, man. Come on now. Because, they're gender roles. They're natural gender roles, man. And so, when you talk about gender roles in the home, like if somebody comes into my house and there's no food in the fridge, everybody's looking dusty, they gonna look at me. They're gonna be like, the hell's wrong with him? You know what I'm saying? And they should, okay? Because I'm gonna be like that. All right, now they come into my house and it's nasty, it's never clean, and it's just dusty.
It smells.
And it smells. They probably gonna look at it, man. Who the hell? You got women living here, because women make houses better. That's what women typically do. They make the home, they make the house the home. Right? You know what I'm saying? And but we like to pretend now that, don't stop on no gender role. Everybody now, that granted, now not saying that it's all set in stone. It's not like, hey, like, I'm gonna wipe down the bed. I'm gonna wipe stuff down. I'm gonna clean a little something too. You know what I'm saying? But we got natural roles that kind of come into play. That's why I break into the house. I'm grabbing the 9 and I'm gonna be like, hey, y'all stay back here and let me go see what's going on. I'm not gonna have my wife grab the tool in the dark and me stay back with the kid. Come on, man.
That's shaking in your boots. I'm shaking in my boots.
That ain't happening. And I feel like kind of in society now with masculinity, people want to try to downplay it, like, oh no, that's that's not the deal. I'm a firm believer that a man should be dangerous. Men should be dangerous. Okay. Now you should be dangerous, but like you should be under control. It's controlled dangerous, right? It's danger for if somebody's messing with the family, you need to be dangerous, Like I always say, I'm not harmless, I'm peaceful, right? But we want people to be, pacifist and oh no, aggression is toxic, and hell no, aggression is necessary.
Well, uncontrolled aggression.
Right. That's what I mean. Control. Okay.
But women
men control their aggression. All right. Now that's
say that again.
To me, that's a masculine trait. Being able to control your aggression. Now, a man who's out of control and out of whack, to me, that's now some people may get offended. That's more of a feminine man to me.
Meaning, if you can't control your emotions,
you're extra emotional as a man. Because think men in history, men fight wars, men hunt. You got to control your emotion. I've been to war. You can't be emotional in war. You have to be under control. You have to be regimented. When you're hunting, you gotta control your fear, okay, to go hunting that wild animal to bring back to your family. men just typically haven't had the luxury of being overly emotional. You just don't have the luxury because
So you're not saying no emotions. You're just saying
It's
aware and
control.
control your emotions.
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
correcting.
Yeah, gotta be aware
Not
and
correcting,
control.
clarifying. Not correcting,
That's a good
clarifying.
Right.
situation.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, being like he say to the world is necessary. You know what I mean? We don't bring that to our woman. You know what I
so
mean? We're gonna
from
soften up when it comes to our woman, but of course we're gonna be like that toward the world because we gotta make shit happen.
Yeah.
so do we think that and I'm piggybacking off of something that Pearl mentioned earlier, which is what she was speaking to, but she didn't say it this way because of, and I'm gonna go to a thought from earlier this week um, regarding the feminist movement. Do we think that the whole feminist movement had a lot to do with the state that our society is in, specifically when it comes to the African American culture, and I would also take it a step further to, from a historical standpoint, and 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 say that from the standpoint of, and again, this has been spoken of too earlier, keeping the Black family separated.
Mhm.
So where I'm going with this is, do we think that, again, the feminist movement and just historical precedents has set a certain trend to be in place that currently exists?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna say
absolutely.
yes and no. Let me
Okay.
tell you why I say no.
Mm-hmm.
The feminist movement was not just Black women,
And no, it wasn't.
but we don't have this problem with white women.
It wasn't for Black women initially.
What problem do we not have with white women? What you mean when you say that? We don't
I'm
have
saying that, which we talked. Look, I'm gonna use the Royals thing, which we talked about previously. The romanticizing of a masculine woman or a strong woman is in our Black community. We are still conditioned to save a white woman. When you look at white women, they are not not as publicly. They're not demasculating their men the way we are trained and conditioned to do that to our men. So what I believe is that we as Black women, whether we are actively participating or not, are a part of the movement that we saw years ago with slavery. Make the Black man look weak, which will create fear, which will catapult the Black woman to stand alone, ahead, in charge, and try to play that role. That's what it is. It's just another form. It's a mental thing. Because the thing is, if I look at you, Tyrone, or you, Lorette, as a Black man, I'm like, oh man, I just need you to stand up, and you can't stand up. Move over. I'm standing up. Don't even come in the house. You can't do it. I'll do it. So now, not only does the Black woman not accept the Black man, which in actuality, what's a man without a woman?
But I'm not letting you do that because
I get
I
it.
ain't built like that. So
Exactly. But let me tell you what, not everyone's like that.
no.
Because here's the thing. In most situations, I, as the Black woman, am taking the role of your Black mother, who was like, I got it, baby. Oh, go ahead, girl.
No,
You
go ahead.
said I'm like,
no, because I'm listening to you and I got a thought. Go ahead. I'm
give
sorry.
me the thought, girl. Give me the thought.
No. So when you were talking, and that example that you just gave, when you slapped the table and you was like, just get out the way. No, that was dope. Because what you just did was trigger me in this thought. The thought is this: when it comes to raising our children, and I just spoke to this, but from a single parent standpoint, within a home where there is a mother and a father, and more importantly, if it is a home that is blended, that mother tends to not want that man to raise or discipline that child, male or female.
I agree. Just like we talked about this before.
Yes.
When a single mother tells her son, you are the king of this household, but I'm taking care of you, I'm paying the bill, and you just showing up and eating, you are subliminally telling that boy who will be a man, all you got to do is show up. That's all you tell him.
But what I'm saying is, it happens also in a I'm sorry. Look, come on, Lorraine. Lorraine's like, woo wee. But what I'm saying is, it also happens.
Coming from a woman, like I had these conversations with people all the time, and I don't get the agreements that I be seeking. And
well, you
just,
ain't been talking to
Yeah, you ain't talking to the average. Yeah, you ain't talking to them kind of women tonight. So,
nah.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I'm a single parent,
but
3 kids, and what I teach my sons, I teach my daughter as well.
Yeah.
Don't go into a situation with a guy asking him to be a man, but shutting him down when he's a man. Now, don't get abused, whatever. Just like I tell my son, this is my home that I've made for you. You can be the king of your castle when you provide and protect for that castle.
Right.
Okay. Period. It's gonna come out the way it's coming out, but I'm warning you because you know how stuff come out. Just because you slinging a dick does not make you a king, especially now when you can buy one. Okay. Yeah. It is being a man is not only the physical, it comes from inside, right? It is that need to provide, it is that need to protect. But hold on now. As a woman, we're always talking about what is a man doing for me? Well, what are we doing for that man as well? Because there needs to be some balance. We're supposed to nurture. We're supposed to provide the home for them to come home to. I mean, if we want to get into spirituality and Christianity, the Bible says a nagging wife is worse than a leaky roof. We have to put all of that into consideration.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, even in a 2-parent home where there's a mother and a father, that mother will sometimes, depending on the home, will demean and demasculate that or emasculate that man, even in this fixed home where you have both parts. And that's what I'm saying. So what is that about? What really is that about?
Meaning the woman demasculating the child or the father?
No, the father.
What's she doing to emasculate? How is she doing it?
So the example that I was just giving a few moments ago is, if that father, the child does something that they shouldn't have done, right? The child does whatever they do, and the father, being in the male gender role that he's in, he recognizes not only in his role as a man, but as a man in mind, body, and spirit, and characteristic, right? He's recognizing that his son is going down the wrong path. So maybe he takes it to the next level of having a conversation and literally, I'm gonna say, attempt to discipline him. And I say attempt because sometimes that mother will intervene and say, don't you hit my son, don't you do that.
Right. Nah, well, I mean that's where there's a point in raising boys where the men have to come take the boys, and we take it from there. And when you're a kid, your mother nurtures you and she shows you the little emotional part of life. But then when you get older, I remember when I was growing up, man, and when my dad got a hold of me, my mom, she felt bad. Oh no, and he would tell her. I remember him telling her, "Hey, he's gonna get to a point where he's too big to do anything to. Right. Let me handle this now." And I'll be like, "Damn."
But Tyrone, that's what I'm saying. Like that's the whole. No, but that was how we were raised. That's how we were raised. What I'm saying is now, today, that does not fly. If that mama say, I'm gonna do some role play for a second. If I'm Lorraine's woman and we have our children together, and our child, female or male, get out of pocket, and Lorraine comes over being the father that he's supposed to be, and he's coming in order to set things in proper order. I'm gonna say it that way. And as soon as he come in there, I'd be like, "Oh, hell no, you take your ass on out of here. Don't you touch my kids." Like, yo, what are we doing to our children? You understand what I'm saying?
I went
But
through
yeah.
that.
See,
What I had to learn was like I'm gonna piggyback off what my man just said. I had to learn to take control of the situation, and the way I took control was to separate. Because I actually it was a fear thing. I was
mm,
actually scaring her as well. You know what I mean? When I came in to discipline my son, it was the tone that I was taking and my sincerity and my firmness actually kind of shook up the house. So it drew her to be like, well, hold on, like, wait a minute, like, I'm scared now a little bit too. Like, so if I'm scared for my child. So she just goes into straight mother mode. So,
Mm-hmm.
so once I realized, like, damn, I scared her too. I just was like you said, like, let's take a ride, son. Let me holler at you real quick. And I took him out of the
Yeah.
home. And when we got by ourselves, I talked to my son like man to man, like got in his ass, whatever, like
mhm.
hit him in the chest a little
Yeah.
bit, let him know that I'm sick, whatever. We
Okay.
did that. And we come back in the house, we calm, the situation is handled, and she noticed the change behavior, and then we didn't have the problem of power because at that point, what and it took some therapy for me to realize that what was going on at that point, she felt like she wasn't in control of the house, and that's the job that she felt like that was hers. So it was like, no, nigga, don't come in and try to take the role of the house, discipline the child. But
Yeah.
I,
Mm.
the tone and your sincerity was reminds me of when you was mad at me, nigga. So hold on, like, is you mad at it? Like, is you mad at the house? Did I do something wrong? Like, don't take it out on my. So it just drew all these. You know how women draw
Yeah.
conclusions to their emotions. So
We piece things together. No, I'm messing.
so once you said, the separating thing is the best thing that I learned when it came to discipline my kids. You know what I mean? That even allowed me not to even have to put my hands on them because now we ride and then we kind of like building
Yeah.
bond discipline at the same time. You know what I mean? And he know I'm serious because it's like we what we leaving for? Where we going? Like now it's just him scared. Like now I got him where I want him instead
Yeah.
of
And that's the thing. You gotta have that trust with your whoever you're raising the child with. That
right,
like,
right,
yo, this is aggressive, but it's necessary.
right,
So
right, right,
so
right,
let me
right,
take this. And a lot of times, if that trust isn't there, it's like, whoa, that
Mhm.
protective mode goes into play. But you
hmm
gotta let it go. Like, oh, okay, hey, this is the best for you. Because with
right.
boys, man, you gotta sometimes you
Yeah.
gotta be a little bit rougher, man.
You,
It's
Yeah.
you
So
it's
got
that
Well,
way.
his
it turned into like, can you come get him, please?
yeah,
Instead of, can you come talk to him? Because she was like, well,
yes,
I noticed that he became a better boy to becoming a man when his daddy came to pick him. I don't know what they did, but
mm-hmm.
when he came back, he was straight.
yeah,
So
Mm-hmm.
it
Mhm.
turned into, yo, come pick him up, come get him, because he getting on did this, he's talking this, he disrespect, boom, 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 boom.
Mm-hmm.
Take him out of my house because he ain't gonna disrespect my house. And I'm hearing disrespect my house more
yeah,
so disrespecting me. You see
yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I this
Well,
like
here's a hard truth as a single mother that I had to experience. And part of it, one of my close friends, like, hey, Erica, you just can't. So again, single mama three, two boys. Dad, there's no call your dad to discipline you. I didn't have that. Once I
Mm-hmm.
divorced my husband, it was a wrap. But I tried to overcompensate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, come on, let's go play ball. We can go play ball. Let's go play football, right? What, you got a game? I got you. Oh, yo, let's do that. Let's play video games. And
Mm-hmm.
I had to get to the point where I realized no matter how hard I tried to replace that man, I'm not. I'm
Mm-hmm.
Nah,
never going
it's
to be their father. I'm
not the
never going
same.
to be a male role. In actuality, all I was doing was amplifying what a mother does, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, and I'm saying it like it was easy. I'm telling you, a sister was playing ball, playing football,
Right.
like video games. Let's do this video game. Oh, let's talk about this girl. I taught my kids how to put on a condom. I'm not going to replace your father because I am not a man.
Yeah, and
I
and,
don't,
and it's like and it's the same thing. It's like I could never replace the woman. I can't. We can't do that. I can't. I'm not a nurturer. I'm not nurturer at all. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Like I'm not that person.
And
You know what I'm
it
saying?
wasn't, it was sort of forced, because I'm gonna be real, we playing, I throw it, whoop, and they get hit. I'm like, you okay? Like the men I grew up with, even though I was a tomboy, be like, all right, get up, shake it off, you be all right. No, I'm over there running like I got some band-aids. You're right. So
Yeah,
it's
it's a whole
hard.
different
It's
energy.
hard to deal with that, because here's the thing: it wasn't coming from a place of being a nurturer. It was coming from a place of regret. Like, I'm so sorry that I gave you this life where there is not a father, where there's not a man, right? And so instead of, and in that moment of having that talk with that close friend, I had to step back and go, you need to deal with your healing and your guilt, and stop projecting that on your kids, because they'll see that you're giving the best. But if you are trying so hard to replace the man where there's no man around, you are actually giving them a complex that something's wrong with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it took a while. Now, everyone isn't able to do that, because sometimes it comes out in anger. You just like your father, you ain't shit. You are filling your kid with toxicity, because guess what? That voice stays with them for their life. When they mess up, they're like, yeah, you're right. I ain't shit. Ain't nobody talking to them. That's the voice in their head.
Yeah.
And then they take the lesser role, or the less dominant role, because they remember that my mother, number one, already told me I ain't shit. She said, I don't even come from shit. You get what I'm saying to you? So it is a back, turn the mirror around, and it's a self-awareness.
So do you feel like, do you all feel like that is one of the reasons why it is important to nurture and develop mentor programs for our young men,
that's what I'm trying to do,
to be around other men like yourselves who have been there and done that, who have go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah, it's very important, because some of the work I do, I work with young men, and the thing I'm seeing is there's so many young boys who will just grow up in like a female dominated world, and it's no men around. It's like it's their mom, it's their auntie, it's their grandma,
it's the neighbor.
It's just not a lot of men in their lives, and you can always tell, man, when I'm talking to a young man. First thing, they can't look me in the eye. Like the masculine energy, they're not used to a masculine man. They like the first thing they do, even if the harder they be as hard as can be. When you talk to them, you look them in the eye, they look away. They look down. And I'm like,
or they're super emotional because they can't connect.
Right, because they've come up in that extra emotional environment. And so I tell them, look me in the eye, and I explain this is what men do. And a lot of times they'll kind of get embarrassed, like, oh, well, I want to be and then you see, yo, I want to be a man, and it's like, yo, come on, this is the tribe, man. I'm a man. You want to be a man? This things you do, and they'll kind of listen and follow along. A lot of times, it's a little resistance at times because they're used to that environment. They're used to what they're used to. But a lot of times, I explain, this is what men do. Hey, you shake a man's hand, you give him a firm grip. It's like you don't give them a little weak, just little stuff like that.
Not the flaky wrist.
Yeah, not the flaky wrist and all of that.
Well,
I think it's very important though for men to get involved in young men's lives who don't have men in their lives.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of the things that I try to do.
So,
I want to answer your question, Royal. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, love. You good?
So I have been trying for years to start a mentoring program for men. And the reason why, I know this is not a popular opinion, I feel the only way we're going to regain the order of the family is through men. 100%. I feel that men often talk about where's the submissive woman. Submission comes with feeling safe and trust, right? I feel like if we get men to a point where they can feel that they can be the protector and they can be the provider, then you can nurture environments where women feel safe to submit, right? But it doesn't start with women. We keep doing that. We keep doing all this extra provision for women, which now is empowering women and still not empowering men. So to answer your question, I do feel that mentorship for men, consistent mentorship for men, would make a difference, not only in the streets, but in the homes as well. So that's to answer your question.
Okay. Because where was my other thought on this conversation is when you're in a mentor program, or if you're serving as a mentor to a young man. Tyrone, I'm gonna go to the scenario you just gave, right? You're working with a group of young men. During that dialogue, if you see, for lack of a better way of putting this, and this is off, I'm going to let it be known that this word that I'm about to use is going to be off-putting. But if you see that this young man has some weaker characteristics about himself, okay, that you want to see strengthened as a young man, right? Do you say anything related to, you know what, you need to be around more men. You need to stop being a mama's boy.
I do. I do. Yeah.
Let's
Hey,
talk
look.
about
So,
let's,
so,
no,
so
let's talk about that. I'm going somewhere with this. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. Because
Apparently, Lorray agrees because he started talking.
He did. I saw it.
because I think I just
Wait,
believe that
wait,
things,
I got
some things are what they are, and I think some boys I will tell them, hey, you need to. It's time to grow up. It's time because look, because especially about young black boys, man. Like when they're younger, the world sees them as adults, man. The world don't see you as a little boy as long as they see other kids as little boys. And you gotta be mindful of how you move or how you act. So like I'll see boys and I'll tell them, yo, you need to kind of mature a little bit because it's gonna be dangerous for you out here acting crazy as a young man because they see you as an adult. You know, that cop that's going to see you out there, they don't see you as a little kid. You know, once you hit puberty as a little black boy, they see you as a man.
I
You know
think
what I'm
it's
saying?
before that.
Well, whether you are or not, you know, and I just feel like there's the world that should be and the world that is. You know, now, yeah, they should all be seen as kids and get more leeway, but they don't. So we got to kind of raise them that way and kind of show them, you know, what's actually going on. Yeah, I have told boys like the football and stuff. Hey, you know, when boys are always calling their mom, hey, coach, I forgot my stuff. Hey, coach, can I call my mom? Say, man, you got to be responsible and bring your own stuff. Stop depending on your mom. You're being a mama's boy. Yeah, you're being a mama's boy. You need to cut it out. You need to grow up, you know, because I'm an advocate of shame. Okay. Sometimes shame, like we like to say, oh, shame is bad. Don't shame people. But sometimes shame makes people improve. You know, put a little stress on people. Stress is good sometimes. Positive stress, you know, make you react a different way. But that's just me. I give tough love to boys. And I have a lot of guys come back years later and they appreciate it. You know, one kid told me, I saw a kid last year. He said, man, you're an asshole back then, but that's what we needed. And he was like, I appreciate it. You know, it really changed the way I thought about some things. You know, so but go ahead. Where were we going with it though? With the
No, Lorraine, did you want to add anything
I
before I tell y'all where I was going with this?
on the mentoring program thing. I was going to comment because I did the same thing, and I just wanted to just to make a comment on the problem that I had and the solution that I came up with. Again, it's just for myself. Not saying that everybody should do it, but what I found was the people that was joining the mentor group was forced to be there by their parents. It was like a
it's never
situation.
gonna work. It's gotta be out of love.
You know what I'm saying? And then the parent leave. So I had a problem with that because my thing was I'm not only here to mentor this child, I need to mentor the parent because the child is misbehaving. Maybe the parent need some type of like we need to all be mentored. You know what I'm saying? Like so it ain't
Nice.
That's the tough part
Yeah.
is the
because
parents.
I
Yeah.
started meeting the parent, I realized the problem. The
Yeah.
problem was the child, the problem was the parent. So okay, so what's going on here? You know what I mean? Because why would you drop your child off to a mentoring program and leave?
Right.
You know, it just didn't make sense to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you don't know what I'm talking to these kids about. You don't know what they
Mhm.
tell me about what's going on in your home.
That's right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's like at the end of the day, I hear what the child like.
Yeah.
Children are smarter than we think, right?
Yeah.
I found that children was making up things just because they was getting some attention. That wasn't going on in their home, but they knew that the parent wasn't coming in here anyway, so they could just come here and live this lie and get this sympathy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, you know what I mean? But that
Mm-hmm.
ain't even what's going on. You just in here tripping, like you just.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
that pushes. So the program to me was kind of like, wait a minute, this is a this is a daycare or this is a you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like we need y'all involved. Like
Right.
get your ass in here, sit down, and because you might have a problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like because it's a trickle down effect. That kid learned and is you know like they might not be getting the attention from you, sweetheart. You know what
Right.
I mean? That might be the problem. So maybe you sitting in here with them shows them that you care a little bit more. It be the
Right.
little
Right.
things inside of the kid that needs to be sparked that takes all that shit away. Cause I was that kid. So when somebody found some jewel inside of me, I ran with it.
Yeah.
So, but it took
Yeah.
somebody to sit down with me and my surroundings and see. Like Pastor Sneed was just one of the guys that I looked up to forever. It took me to see for him to show me. He didn't direct me. He didn't say I should do anything. He just was like, "Hey, come around me
Mm-hmm.
with this. You like what
Mm-hmm.
you this is another option." You know what I'm saying? So it was
Right.
like
Right.
I wasn't forced to be there. It was none of that. You know what I mean? He just seen something. This is who I learned it from. He seen the surrounding more so of I'm gonna just tell
Mm-hmm.
you that you should just be a man and do this and do this, do this. Well, how about pull me into something, show me something, come into what you see that could be triggering, you know, like figure out what's really going on in here. Pray for me, put God in it a little bit, and
Yeah.
then watch the outcome. And
Right.
that's what I feel like the mentoring program need to consist of. More of a family thing, more, like more, not more of a well, he need to be here because he ain't paying attention in class. Why ain't
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you see what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
And that's the main point you said. People gotta care. People
Right.
have to lead with love with it, man. Because when I know when I'm
Parent got it.
mentoring kids, the one thing kids always know, as hard as I can be on them sometimes, as demanding as I can be, they know, yo, he cares about us. I'm breaking down life to them. I'm telling the boys, yo, hey, I'm pointing out parts of my life. I'll show the boy, hey, look, I got a wife. Look, you do the right thing. You get a bad wife like this. I'll be
Yeah,
messing with him. I'll be like,
yeah,
yo, you made bad decisions. You can get a little funny looking girlfriend that's gonna treat you, but I be, it's little stuff that, and they kind of, they be laugh, they be thinking like, and they see me and they go, okay, well, this is somebody who's, okay, this is real. Okay. Hey, this is not how you treat a woman. You want to
right.
get a woman one day, and I'm like, you want a woman to treat you right, you gotta do these things. And like I put these little things to stuff that I'm talking about within a football program, within whatever
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing within a class, and they can tell that I care because I go the extra with it. But when people don't care and they just doing it because it's their
Right.
job, they gotta be there. Kids feel that. They ain't
Right.
Absolutely.
they
Absolutely.
Quick question. Have you ever ran into a situation, sir? Have you ever ran into a situation where the child kept coming back with the same issue? Like you
absolutely, yeah.
kind of kept reiterating, reintroducing the motivation, boom, 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 right?
Hmm.
That's when they went home, they won't get it. You see what I'm saying? So it was like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've had some stories where there's some kids I've had who are like street kids.
like they go
Yeah.
home, they don't see it, right?
Yeah.
But that's the step right there that I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
And to both of you guys, like that's where my mentor was. That's why I asked that question of, are you saying to this young man, you need to stop being a mama's boy? Because that can be a double-edged sword. Because
Right.
if all he know is his mom and that's his rock,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
then you are basically creating a wedge,
Mm-hmm.
which is what you don't want to do, because that's counterproductive. But
Mhm.
you have the potential. Let me say it that way. You have the potential of creating a wedge when you're trying to build a bond. You see what I'm saying? Um,
Absolutely. I
but
agree.
but then on
Yeah.
the flip side of that, Lorraine, you hit it, because again, my multi-dimensional thought process. Um, you hit it on the head too, because that's also where my thought process was, like, to make sure that we are in these mentor programs, including the parent, because like you just said, you said it perfectly. It's in order for anything to be effective, you need to know, like you said, what I'm talking about. And then because those nuggets that you're dropping on these young men, you and Tyrone both, those nuggets that y'all are dropping, that woman, being a woman, might be like, oh snap, I ain't thought about that. Because
Yeah.
everybody don't sit around at the round table like we doing right now and have this
Yeah.
type of dialogue. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And keeping it real.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
that reminds me of, I had an incident one time, and I got to kind of walk the ledge with how I do it, because where I'm at and how I do it. But
right.
I had a young man, you know, on in my program. I don't let guys participate if they got zeros in class, because that's just sorry. I just say that's sorry.
You didn't put your name on the paper.
Right. So there was this young man, and he wasn't playing, and I had this parent. Oh, she was just on. She'd be yelling, screaming in practice. You're not letting them play. So one day I pulled to the side. I said, listen. You're at practice every day, screaming at me, but the teachers in the building do not know who you are. They don't know you, ma'am. They don't know you. You haven't been to one parent-teacher meeting. This boy is failing, and I took a risk.
She probably believe he's gonna be a superstar. That's what that is.
Took a little risk, because sometimes they go above me. Oh, he said that, and they'll throw me under the bus. But I just couldn't take it. I said, look, and she stopped, and she got mad for a second. She stopped, and she just turned around and walked away. And that's when I knew, yeah, she felt that one. And she did, and she didn't bother me again. And she came back and apologized. She was like, dang, all right, hey, I'll make sure he gets his stuff right. But she was thinking along the line, like we think sometimes sports. Hey, if you're making it sports, you'd be okay. And I'm like, no, you won't.
You're gonna take care of your mama.
No, you won't. He will not be taking care of you with zeros.
No.
He will not.
I'm gonna
Living with you.
Well, because a lot of times, I had met this one young man, and I could just tell it just needed a little attention, a little guidance, right? But once I met his mother, she had made a statement which kind of like summed up a lot of my I would say words when it comes to these young men. But she was like, "Damn, it's been so long since I've been around a real man," and I'm like, "What?" So,
wow.
Again, how there lies another problem. So he's raising somebody that she ain't never been around.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Good
saying?
point.
Like
She ain't trying to hit you with a step back this year with the shoot the shot on you.
But you know what I mean?
The James Harden.
I just held the ball and looked at it like but I ain't with it. But no, that was my eyes went, whoa. When I got back in the car, I sat there for a minute, like, well, I'll be damned. This is the problem. You know what I mean? Like, we got women that's never witnessed their father, their uncle. They seen and a lot of the time, let's just be real, it be that sometimes that strong woman sometimes push away a lot of.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Agreed. Very naturally.
When she said that, this woman is 30-something years old. You damn near 40, you ain't met no real one. Like, your child's a teenager.
Well, I think some of it too is
I'm a single mom. I've been raising them.
And I was gonna say that. We get comfortable in the brokenness. We get comfortable. Like we go, like I've heard, and we've had people on the show come and say, well, I've never seen that, so I don't need it. Just because you survived it doesn't mean it's the best way for you to go about it.
You just survive trauma. Trauma ain't healthy. You just survive trauma. So you still need to nurture the terrify.
Yeah.
Balo, man, where you been, brother? Oh, hold on.
And he disappeared. I was gonna say, what'd you do?
What it do, man? How y'all living?
All right,
what's going on, man?
As we wrap up, we're glad to see your face.
Man, I got my time. I got my times mixed up, man. I'm thinking y'all on Central Standard Time and y'all on Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, you know what?
Dr. Royal already put the prescription in for you. It just didn't get to
I was trying to look out for you, Velo.
Yeah.
Oh
I
man.
appreciate it. I'm pretty
So-
sure y'all had a really, really good conversation. Now I get the gist of it on YouTube.
Well, I was about to say maybe you can wrap us up on what you think about ways we can resolve the attack on masculinity.
I know you
get to
wrote
close
something
us
down.
out. You get to close
So-
us out.
I know you wrote something
Yeah,
down.
you know, I heard this argument from every angle, from it being no father than the house to women doing a lot of the raising of a young men that are in society. The bottom line of it is simple. I think we need to look at it from this approach. At every instance in a young man's life, there is a man in his life at some point, whether it be a school teacher, a coach, an uncle, or someone in that child's life. Now, we all see as men, we see failure with our young men, and we don't step in and make that hard decision to say, hey, I'm here for you.
Mhm.
Because either we think it's too much responsibility to take on, but if we don't take on that responsibility, we are failing our young men.
Mhm.
It don't matter what color,
Mhm.
it don't matter what race.
Mhm.
When you see a young man struggling, hey man, listen, let's talk. Let me see where your head at. If I can't point you in the right direction, I'm gonna go in that direction with you. Simple, right?
Mhm.
We just gotta step up.
Mhm.
See, I knew you was gonna wrap it up real nice and tight with that. Whoa.
Hey,
Yes.
that's why I said as a let my brother come in and drop a
Let
little
me take a sip.
All right, so we're past our hour time, so we're gonna get into the final thoughts from everybody. All right, final thought time. So, Dr. Roy Rain, what are your final thoughts tonight on masculinity?
My final thought is simply that in order for us to have a strong nation, we have to have strong men.
Amen.
So, with that being said, as a collective group of humans, we need to work together, as Balo just said, in order to make this world what we want it to be, in every sense of the word.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ray, what's your final thoughts, brother?
Final thoughts. I feel like as men, like my man said, we need to actually step in because that works. I've seen that work. And actually, men need to seek God, man, first,
Amen.
and put God back in our lives, put God back in our kids and our community, and everything else after that will work itself out. Because actually, women seek God; they seek to follow that, and they see that in us. You know what I mean? So, if that part right there kind of just sums up everything for me. You know what I mean? Because once that part right there is established, everything else just works itself out. And again, just step in, man. It don't take nothing but two steps to tell a brother which way to go, and they listen. If they the chosen, they're gonna listen. If they not, they're gonna be destroyed regardless. So it only takes
Okay.
it takes 2 seconds to lead. It takes 1 second to be destroyed. You know what I mean? Sometimes we
Okay.
like my man said, it ain't a lot though, man. It's not a lot. It's not a burden. None of that.
All right, respect. All right, Black Pearl, what are your final thoughts on tonight?
I think we need to stop. We've said this is the thing, right? Matching energy, because it's not taking us anywhere. It's not. We keep going. It's not my business. This ain't got nothing to do with me. I promise you, it all has to do with us. So what you turn a blind eye to will come back around and pop you in the back of the head. You know, like how you have those balls and people like let it go around, and you kind of like, oh, it'll come back and pop you in the back of the head. And that's exactly what's happening now. Things that we turned a blind eye to is popping us in the back of the head. So yeah.
Okay. All
So
right.
I got
All right.
I got one more to add to that, and it goes off what my man said up there in the corner about finding God. Uh, that is probably the realest statement that we've made is finding God. We have eliminated God just about in every aspect of our lives. That includes church. That includes schools. Whatever you want to whatever you want to go with that. But I look at it like this between men and women. God created Adam from created Eve from one of Adam's ribs. So in order to be complete, a man got to have his rib. You cannot be complete
Mm.
unless you got
Boy,
your
you
rib.
about to roll us right into a whole nother hour.
I'm gonna leave it at that. So
Why not?
All right, all right. All right, yeah. So my final thoughts on it is there a tackle masculinity? In some ways, yeah, and in some ways, we gotta make sure we don't relinquish our masculinity.
Mm.
All right, and we gotta make sure we step up in our role. Because I don't think a real masculine man, can be diminished. All right,
Mm.
so I just don't. That's my belief. As far as the roles between men and women go, I think we need to try to not make everything equivalent because fire and ice, are both very important. One isn't more important than the other. Both are essential for life, okay, and we need both. And one isn't, you gotta have that balance, right? So that's my thoughts on masculinity and the topic of the night and relationships and the rabbit holes we jump down gladly. We have fun with. That's what we do. The conversation goes where it goes, right? All right. So that's my final thoughts, man. So, show love to everybody. Be balanced. It's gonna be all good, man. All right. So make sure you guys check us out on YouTube, right? All right, so we got the experience. All right, we got Facebook, we got Spotify. Show us some love out here, everybody. Show us some love. All right. Now, you've been a part of the experience, and it's always good. Good night, everybody.